There is a wave of water coming to this city, New York City. This is the Lord's word that he was giving me. I just wrote it down. A wall of water that has never been seen before. A wave so great, it will wash every single thing away. Sound wave, tidal wave from beyond the New York harbor. Buildings will come loose from their moorings in many cases. They will be knocked from the foundation by water that has power called megaton force. Megaton force is a great form of G-force. Just like sound has power, just the way sound is unseen, but it's capable of having blasting power, breaking power, so this tidal wave will be. So in the end, I had to go and look up megaton force on the internet to actually find out what it is. But God was saying to me that celestial sound has power. And we know when a person drives by this apartment, when I'm trying to make these prophecies, I can hear the windows shaking depending on how much sound they've got in their car. And so sound definitely has power. And God says that this tidal wave is coming with megaton force. It is coming with the force that can actually blast and break buildings loose from the moorings. So buildings don't just sit flat. We know that buildings have foundation. There's a ton of steel in there and concrete there. And God says that there will be two types of destructions of these buildings. Some of these buildings will actually be ripped out from the foundation and carried away in the water. And some of the buildings, I've spoken about it in many videos. I said that the building is standing here, the building snapped in half. So this is the building, it's snapped in half, and the top part was carried away when that water hit. And then the rest were standing up like jagged stumps all over New York. And so God was saying that this decibel power, this megaton force, can explode windows, it can shatter materials. And I saw that when the tidal wave hit buildings, the glass just went shoo, and it became such deadly dagger-like things flying all across the city. And I was shocked to see in real time just how much glass we have here. And so the Lord said that this water will break and smash things, and it will be as hard as a rock or a wall. And we know that sometimes if people go swimming, they have tragic accidents. If they jump into water and they hit water, if you hit water the wrong way, water can be as hard as rock. It can break your neck. It can break and shatter parts of your vertebra and paralyze you or even break a bone. And so I saw that the water will strike with that kind of hardened force. And I saw that also it was very savage. It was uprooting trees and buildings. God says that this wave, this tidal wave, will rip things up from the ground and carry them away, so that anything that does not have a foundation, he already said that even some buildings will be ripped up from the ground. But this means that anything definitely that doesn't have a foundation, anything that's not rooted, for instance, like a very big tree or like a silo or like a building, cars now, boats, people, loose objects, untethered property, all these food trucks that we have in the city, that kind of thing, they will be utterly swept away. And God said that there will be great, great, great loss of life, because this tsunami will make New York City mute and silent afterward. And so what I was seeing is that everything will be covered. Everything will be covered. And then the Lord said to me this, and I'm going to read it out and then read the matching Bible verse, because there are many things that I say here and then people will say, I don't know the scripture. And that's not really on me. That's just on the fact that you don't actually know the scripture. The Lord said, how has the joyous city ceased? What happened to the noise of your revelries? A revelry is a very noisy and happy party. Where is the noise of your songs? What happened to you, New York, that you are now drowned beneath the ocean waves, battered and silent all around? Why aren't you raising your voice against me anymore? Why aren't you challenging me with your laws that lift up your abominations to the heavens and defy me as God? Why have you nothing to say? And when I went and I looked up this that he was saying, two scriptures came up. One is Isaiah 24 and verse 8. And it says, the joyful tambourines have ceased. The noise of the revelers, the partygoers, has stopped, and the joyful harp is silent. The other one is the banner scripture that I read in the beginning, and it says, I will make to cease from the cities of Judah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth, laughter, and the voice of gladness, and the voice of bridegroom and bride, and the land shall be desolate. That means that God is basically saying exactly the kind of thing he says in the Old Testament when he is provoked to the point that he brings such a brutal judgment against people who have been equally brutal against him. He always has this habit of questioning them through the prophets. How come this and how come that? And this is just basically the clapback of someone who knows that all finishing power and all final arguments rest with him. And he could have chosen to act at any moment, but he waits with grace, mercy, and compassion for people to change their ways.